Sometimes there are seasons in life that can feel like an endless road trip through unfamiliar terrain, right? We can take wrong turns, get stuck in traffic, and sometimes end up completely lost. That's exactly where Israel found itself in Jeremiah's time. Exiled, scattered, and broken. They were far from home, and they were far from the God that they turned their backs on. And yet in their lowest moment, the Lord gives them this instruction. He says, erect road markers, set up signposts. He uses the word Zion. The word Zion, means signpost. The Lord is pointing to something in Zion, pointing to himself. So he says, erect road markers, set up Zion, set up signposts, set your heart toward the highway, the way by which you traveled. And he says this in verse 21. See, God didn't abandon them to their confusion. Instead, he gave them a roadmap for return. The markers weren't just physical reminders, they were spiritual signposts. They represented the promises of God's everlasting love, his constant call to return, and the hope of restoration. He was telling his people, don't forget the way home, because I'm waiting for you. Here's the thing about road markers. They only work if you pay attention to them. It's easy to get so caught up in the chaos of life that we miss the signs that are pointing us back to God. The beauty of God's love is that he keeps putting those markers in our path through his word, through his people, even through the lessons that we learn in difficult seasons. Like Israel, we've all wandered. We've all felt the ache of being far from the Lord. But just as he did for Israel, God calls us to stop, look around, and set our hearts on the highway back to him. And here's the best part. He promises to meet us on that road. The God who told Israel to erect markers is the same God who left the ultimate marker in the form of his son, Yeshua. Through him, the path is clear and the destination is sure. So what markers are you setting up, leaving behind? What steps are you taking today to make sure you can always find your way back to the Lord? And more importantly, are you helping others navigate their journey? Every prayer, every act of kindness, every moment of faith is a signpost that can guide someone else home. Maybe daily write a scripture that reminds you of God's faithfulness, or reach out to encourage someone who's struggling. Whatever it is, let it be a reminder of the path that God has called you to walk and a guide for others to follow to him.